I'm Bruce Long. Geddes Kerr asked me to deliver this next installment in his series about fathers. Today's message is titled, A Good Dad Makes Godly Decisions. This coming Sunday, June 19th, is Father's Day. So Geddes has asked me to share with you first a few short Bible verses that apply to being a faithful father and also to a touching secular father and son story. Listen to these verses, please, which are appropriate for Father's Day. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 8. Hear, my son, your father's instruction, and forsake not your mother's teaching. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 22. Listen to your father who gave you life. Malachi chapter 4, verse 6. He will turn the hearts of the fathers to their children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers. And finally, 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 14, do everything in love. Now here's a devotion from Max Lucado on fathers. Max first cites Psalm 78, verses 5 through 7, which I read for you now. God decreed statutes for Jacob and established the law in Israel, which he commanded our ancestors to teach their children, so the next generation would know them, even the children yet to be born, and they in turn would tell their children. Then they would put their trust in God and would not forget his deeds, but would keep his commandments. Here's a Max Lucado hunch about parenting based on that psalm. Max thinks that fathers and mothers enter the child-rearing business at two different times. Mothers decide to become mothers long before dads become fathers. A mother carries a baby for 9 months, giving her an opportunity to grow content with her decision to parent this new family member. Dad, however, goes about his daily routine pretty much unaffected by what's going on inside the womb. Oh, he's supportive and excited, but compared to mom, he's an observer until delivery time. Then dad's world takes on a new meaning. He looks into the face of the new life and is faced with the realization, I am the father of this child. You might call it a delivery room discovery. At this point, a good dad makes a big decision. He has to decide to become a father. And that decision sets up dominoes of decisions that he will make for the rest of his life. It's a rational choice to alter his life, his schedule, his direction, and his priorities in order to be a good dad to the tiny life that is in his arms. Fathering a child is, for many, not difficult, but being a father is. It's the first and most important decision of fathers. That is, to make a conscientious choice to be a father. The decision to be a father is not just a delivery room decision, though. It is a daily decision. A century ago, many dads were on-site parents, working the farm or perhaps running the family store. Many children spend a great deal of their time alongside their parents, working together. But in our modern culture, employment distances most dads from their kids. Some dads leave home before the children are awake. Others arrive home long after the kids are home from school. Consequently, it is possible, even common, for a father to forget about fathering, to emotionally disconnect himself from his children. Throughout the day, every day, dads need to renew their dad decision. It's a decision to manage his time, carefully reconciling work with the priority of family. Being a good dad means making tough, sacrificial decisions. Decisions that tell and show our children what is important to us. Geddes now shares with us what he called the best article that he has read recently about a father's love. In the country of Armenia in 1988, Samuel and Danielle sent their young son Armand off to school. Samuel knelt before his son and looked him in the eye. "Have a good day at school, and remember, no matter what, I'll always be there for you." They hugged, and the boy ran off to school. Hours later, a powerful earthquake rocked the area. In the midst of the pandemonium, Samuel and Danielle tried to discover what happened to their son's school, but they could get no information. The radio announced that there were thousands of casualties. Samuel then grabbed his coat and headed for the schoolyard. When he reached the area, what he saw brought tears to his eyes. The school was a pile of debris. Other parents were standing around crying. Samuel found the place where Armand's classroom used to be and began pulling a broken beam off the pile of rubble. He then grabbed a rock and put it to the side, and then grabbed another one. One of the parents looked on and said, "What are you doing?" "Digging for my son," Samuel answered. The man then said, "You're just going to make things worse. The building is unstable." And he tried to pull Samuel away from his work, but Samuel just kept working. As time wore on, one by one, the other parents left. Then a worker tried to pull Samuel away from the rubble. Samuel looked at him and said, "Won't you help me?" The worker left, and Samuel kept digging. He dug all through the night and into the next day. Parents placed flowers and pictures of their children on the ruins in the morning, but Samuel just kept working. He picked up a beam and pushed it out of the way when he heard a faint cry, "Help! Help!" Samuel called for his son and listened, but didn't hear anything again. Then he heard a muffled voice, "Papa?" Samuel began to dig furiously. Finally, he could see his son. "Come on out, son," he said with relief. "No," Armand said. "Let the other kids come out first, because I know that you will get me." Child after child emerged until finally little Armand appeared. Samuel took him in his arms, and Armand said, "I told the other kids not to worry, because you told me you would always be there for me." 14 children were saved that day because one father was faithful and loved his son. This story of a faithful father touched Geddes deeply and led him to pick these Bible verses which apply to the story and with which we will close our message today. Psalm 103, verse 13. "As the Father has compassion on his children, so the Lord has compassion on those who fear him." Proverbs 22, verse 6. "Start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it." And 2 Samuel chapter 7, verses 14 through 15. "I will be a father to him, and he will be a son to me." So if you're a father, please share today's story with your children so that they can know of a father's love for his son. And now, briefly departing from Geddes' script, I want to share that probably my own life's greatest reward is that my 2 daughters have put up with me for 50 years. It's pretty obvious that they both have the gift of endless patience, which they have to use frequently with the current speaker. Next week, Geddes will share with us from the Old Testament the final story, and that's the story of the prodigal son. So if you're not familiar with the prodigal son, or even if you are, please tune in next week to hear Geddes tell us of another's love and forgiveness for his son. Thank you for your time today. All of us at Oakton Church wish you a productive week and a loving Father's Day.